So you've done a sleep study, you know you need CPAP therapy, and you have a prescription for a machine. The next big decision, even before you select a machine for yourself, is whether to buy it directly or go through your insurance company. And this question is rarely discussed because it might seem like a no-brainer. You have insurance, right? And what's the point of that insurance other than to cover medical costs like CPAP equipment? So you should just get it on your insurance, right? Well, maybe, but probably not. Hidden costs and procedures of going through your insurance company mean that the process takes longer and also very well end up costing you more. And you're also usually restricted in terms of supplier choice, machines, and masks. Oh boy, you've got to love our American healthcare system. In this video, I'm going to start by going over the basics of how it works when you buy direct versus going through your insurance company. This way, you can know what to expect from the different processes, and then going to walk you through a few possible scenarios and their relative costs, depending on the terms of your insurance policy, so that you can figure out the likely cost differences to weigh against the convenience differences. So before you call up your insurers to get the ball rolling, watch this video so that you can make an informed decision based on the facts of your case. Well, hi, I'm Ruben from RespShop, an online retailer for all things CPAP based in Redmond, Washington, serving over 1 million people with sleep apnea since 2008. Part of what we do is keep the CPAP community informed about equipment, medical info, and anything else that helps you get the most out of what CPAP therapy offers. So, subscribe to our channel to stay updated, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram too. Now, before we get too far in, let's address the elephant in the room. You may be suspicious that as an online retailer of CPAP equipment, RespShop are pushing you to buy direct to get you to purchase from us instead of going through your insurance. Well, that's not what we're about. And if you don't want to take our word for it, Nick from CPAP Reviews is an Australian and has no skin in the game in the US market, but he has enough experience of the CPAP world to know that buying direct is usually the best option for US customers. Check out what he said.
To all my mates in the US, g'day guys. There seems to be a lot of debate about buying CPAP through insurance versus buying it outright. Now, personally, from what I'm reading, I know exactly what I would do. I would cut out all the bullshit and just buy it outright. That's what I'd do.
So why do we, Nick, and others think direct purchasing is usually the way to go in the US? It's because the process is faster and simpler, and because it's often cheaper as well. Here's why. If you choose to buy direct, you can go to whatever supplier you wish, purchase any machine, mask, and accessories from their range, and get them at the direct competitive prices that they are offering them at, which is often below the standard retail price. You can also take advantages of savings and the incentives that are offered. For example, at RespShop, we offer free shipping for life to anyone that spends over $300 with us, as well as many other perks. We also offer 60-day mask guarantees, which means that you can return masks within 60 days, even if you've used them for full store credit. So you get greater peace of mind than being stuck with a bad fit mask that you got through your insurance provider. RespShop packages and ships to you on the same day that you order, so long as you order before 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So you'll receive the equipment that you need in a matter of days, rather than waiting weeks for insurance approvals. Contrast this to if you go the insurance route. You'll first need to check CPAP equipment is covered on your insurance. It usually is, since it qualifies as durable medical equipment, or DME, which is part of most health insurance coverage. But covered does not mean completely paid for. But I'll go into details of costs in the next section. Insurance companies tend to insist that you purchase from their preferred suppliers. Now, these suppliers have a guaranteed customer base because of this, and as you can guess, this often leads to less than great customer service as a result. They will also usually only allow you to select from a small range of machines and masks, often a choice of just 2 options, which severely limits your ability to select a machine and mask for your specific needs and to experiment with alternatives too. The one thing I've learned about CPAP therapy in all these years is that everyone's therapy is very subjective to them. What might work for someone does not necessarily work for somebody else. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution, so don't get yourself pigeonholed into choosing just one of 2 machines when you go the insurance route. Buying direct gives you that freedom to get the setup that you really need. And when you do select a machine or a mask through your insurance, the waiting time to have it arrive at your door can range from a few days up to a few months, depending on supply lines and a beautiful thing called waitlist prioritization. Your best sleep is not their priority. But even after your machine and mask have arrived, most plans state that you don't get to keep them, and instead you must get them on a rent-to-buy scheme of around a year in length. During this time, you'll need to demonstrate compliance, perhaps over a full year, perhaps over the first 90 days. Compliance typically involves proving that you're using the machine for over 4 hours a night on at least 70% of the days over a given 30-day period. Proving this involves recording, tracking, and reporting your sleep data to the insurance company, and often involves regular trips to the doctor to do so. If you fail to be compliant during this period, then your insurance company can revoke your coverage and pass the bill back onto you, or request that the machine gets sent back. You also need to be careful changing insurers or jobs during this period, as this can affect your coverage. Some people also have privacy concerns about passing on their personal data about their sleeping to third parties like an insurance company. Now, some insurance companies will replace your machine every 3 to 5 years, which sounds great, but they will often also request a new sleep study to be done to upgrade your machine, and then start a new rental period and compliance reporting process again each time that you get a new machine. Altogether, the process is far longer, more restrictive, involves more paperwork, and carries more risks as well. But it's cheaper, right? Well, not necessarily. When you get a machine directly, suppliers are competing for your dollars, and so they tend to sell equipment at a cash price to customers, especially online. RespShop is always offering great discounts to new and loyal customers, but preferred suppliers of insurance companies regularly charge the full insurance price for the machine instead. As you likely know, your deductible rate is the amount of money that you have to spend on your medical care before the insurance company steps in to pay on your behalf. And copay terms are when the insurers only cover a certain percentage of the cost, leaving the rest for you to fund. Now, deductible rates and co-payment terms have been increasing a lot in policies over recent years in an effort to bring down the risks to the insurers so that they can compete better on monthly premiums. In 2026, the average deductible rate for private plans is now $1,700. If this is you, then you'd be worse off buying a machine and mask at an inflated insurance price of, say, $2,000 than you would if you bought it direct for, let's say, $1,400. In the first case, you'd be paying the full deductible cost of $1,700, but buying directly would have only cost you $1,400, and that is for the same machine and mask. And by going direct, you'll have additional options of what to buy, including a more budget-friendly machine like the Res Plus or the Apex XT if your budget is particularly tight. And you might have copay requirements in addition to your deductible rate as well. A typical policy might only cover 50% of durable medical equipment costs after your deductible amount is reached. So that would mean that you'd also need to pay 50% of the extra costs above the deductible, which would be, in our example, a further $150 on top of the $1,700 deductible rate to pay half of that remaining $300. Not good. Besides this, compliance can mean extra doctor visits with the extra associated costs that you could be partly paying. And after all this, you might not even get to own the machine and be stuck with monthly rental fees as part of your co-payment requirements. Now, it might not all be like this, of course. You might have a very favorable deductible and even no co-payment requirements. In that case, as long as you're prepared to select from a small range of machines, wait a bit, rent first, and then demonstrate compliance, you could save yourself a few $100s, which might be worth the hassle. But it is definitely not a case that going through your insurer is always cheaper. And as insurance plans become less and less generous, it's increasingly the case that it is cheaper to avoid your insurer and go direct to somewhere competitive and customer focused, like RespShop.com. One final thing to say is that even the most generous insurance policies tend not to cover equipment deemed non-essential to your therapy. This includes things like travel CPAP machines, mask wipes, cleaning products, and convenience accessories. So make your calculations based upon what your plan is for what you want to purchase. Those extras will never be covered, and so they won't contribute to your deductible rate either. You have to get to that rate paying for essential equipment only before your insurer will step in to help with costs. So then, to know whether you are better off going direct or through your insurance company, you need to read the details of your insurance plan, ask what machines and masks that they will be prepared to cover and at what price, do some calculations, figure out what equipment you want and need, and then think whether the extra hassle is worth the difference in cost. As I said at the beginning, perhaps it will be, but honestly, it probably won't. Either way, at RespShop, we have you covered for all of your CPAP needs, and offer subscribe and save pricing on almost all therapy consumables that you'll need regularly. And for those who are going through their insurance, we offer a remote data service where we can handle the compliance reporting automatically for you without you having to visit your doctor. We also have qualified and friendly staff ready to take your call and advise you further. Or head on over to our website to see our range and prices, as well as information and advice on all things CPAP. Until next time, friends, sleep tight. Bye-bye for now.